All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to the spring live chat for admitted students. So congratulations everyone on your admission to USC, and welcome. Today we have a special event for you guys. We have our largest student panel ever. So you guys get a lot of different viewpoints here, a lot of opportunities to get your questions answered. So with that, we're going to just go straight into introductions, and we're going to start out with Alex.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Gavin. My name is Alex. I'm a sophomore majoring in astronautical engineering, originally from Danbury, Connecticut. Within Viterbi, I'm a part of USC's Rocket Propulsion Lab, where we work on the recovery team. And outside of Viterbi, I'm active in USC's chapter of Tamid, which works, consults and invests in Israeli startups. Thanks, Gavin.
Hey guys, my name is Greg Sinclair. I'm a senior right now studying chemical engineering. I'm originally from Granite Bay, California, right outside of Sacramento. On campus, I'm involved in the Trojan marching band. I just was section leader of the trombone section for the past 2 years. I also did research on campus for 2 years as an undergrad, studying the combustion properties of fuels. And next year I'm going to go on to grad school to pursue a master's degree in nuclear engineering.
Hey guys, I'm Hannah. I'm a sophomore also majoring in chemical engineering. I have a minor in consumer behavior, and I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. On campus, I'm on the executive board of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, and I've interned before last summer in Sweden, so if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm a sophomore from San Diego, California, majoring in industrial and systems engineering on the computers track. On campus, I'm involved in a social sorority where I hold a position, and I'm also involved in the USC Interaction Lab, measuring human-robot interaction.
Hey guys, my name is Marcus. I'm currently a junior studying astronautical engineering from Sacramento, California. On campus, I'm involved in the USC Rocket Propulsion Laboratory, as well as Engineers Without Borders, and I've traveled to Honduras with them. I've done research for small-sat or cube satellites, and if you have any other questions regarding the classes, let me know.
Hey guys, I'm Morelle. I'm a junior studying electrical engineering. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. I'm a part of the progressive degree program, so I'm working both on my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. And on campus, I've been involved in research. I've been involved in the Viterbi Student Innovative Institute, which encourages entrepreneurship within Viterbi. And I also went abroad on the Viterbi Summer Abroad program to Madrid a few summers ago.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. I'm a senior studying civil engineering from San Diego, California. Within Viterbi, I'm on the executive board for the Society of Women Engineers. I studied abroad with Morelle in Madrid 2 summers ago, and I'm also staying 1 more year next year to finish my master's in green technology. Outside of engineering, I am a member of the Club Lacrosse team, and I'm also in a social sorority.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm a junior from Kailua, Hawaii, studying computer engineering and computer science. On campus, I'm part of Thematic Option, which is the honors alternative to general education. I'm also part of a fraternity, which I was on the executive board of for a year. Off campus, I interned in an Android startup for about 6 months last year working on an application. And this summer, I'll be working in New York City at Bloomberg as a software engineering intern.
Hey Viterbi admits, my name is also Zach. I am a senior studying mechanical engineering from St. Louis, Missouri. Some of the things I've been involved in at USC have included...
Well, our first question is if you may live in a dorm on campus or close to campus for all 4 years.
I'm going to cut you off really fast.
Let's talk about that a little bit. First, as a freshman, you will live in a dorm on campus. All freshmen do live in dorms. And after your freshman year, you can choose to live in an apartment where anywhere near campus. USC owns many apartments in the nearby area. And you can live in any of those your freshman year or sophomore year. I lived in a USC-owned apartment and then moved.
Hey guys, all right, bit of technical difficulty here. We're gonna go back to Zach really fast to finish off his intro. Sorry that you got cut off, Zach. Why don't you finish up really fast?
Sorry about that. We had a bit of a Zach mix-up. As I mentioned, I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering from St. Louis, Missouri. Some of the things I've been involved in at USC have included the USC men's club rugby team. I've been involved with smart grid research here on campus, and I've had an internship at Argonne National Laboratory the past summer in after this year, I will be going on to pursue my doctorate studies.
All right, and my name's Gavin. I'm the moderator for the evening. This is my final time moderating. I'm a senior. I'm going to be graduating. It's very sad for me. But anyway, I am a senior from Sacramento, California. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and in my 4 years at USC, I was involved in research in microsatellite solar propulsion. I've also done research in shockwave fluid dynamics, and I've been involved with the Rocket Propulsion Laboratory, the SC Racing Team, and several other organizations that I would love to talk about. Also, because of Google Hangout limits, we have one more introduction to do.
Hi.
This is Lyssa, and I'm going to let Lyssa do her intro.
Hi everyone, I'm Lyssa. I'm a junior studying chemical engineering with an emphasis in nanotechnology from Newport Beach, California. On campus, I am a freshman academy coach, which is a cool program for incoming freshman engineers. I'm also on the executive board of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, and I'm involved in a social sorority on campus, and I've also been involved in two different research labs on campus, one in material science and one in mechanical engineering.
All right. So we're going to move on to our first question, which Zach started to touch on, and that was, can you live in a dorm close to campus all 4 years? So I'm going to hand this one off to Natalie to get this started.
Sure. So you can definitely live close to campus. In 4 years, I actually have always lived within a block of campus. I lived freshman year in a dorm right on McCarthy Pond, which was awesome, and then I lived in university-owned and non-university-owned apartments across the street from campus, which has been really great.
What? Research.
All right, we're going to go on to our next question. Thank you, Natalie. Next question is, can you be involved in research as a freshman? So I know many students here got started doing research their freshman year, so we're going to start with Lyssa for this one.
Yeah, so I started working in a material science chemical engineering lab on campus my freshman year. I just started emailing professors that had research that I thought sounded interesting, and I found one that had an availability that I also thought the research was very interesting. I worked with quantum dots and looking at how to synthesize them for applications in solar energy, which was really cool. And yeah, I started that as a freshman. I worked there for about 1.5 years, including one summer. And now I'm working in a mechanical engineering lab, which is also very cool.
Like Lyssa, I also got started with research my freshman year. Through a professor, I got in contact with Professor Coons, who is the advising professor, on Project Leapfrog, which basically the goal of was to design a prototype lunar lander to then sell to NASA or Boeing, one of the big guns in the space industry. So basically, my freshman year, I was working on developing a nozzle for the cold gas propulsion system, and I learned a lot about what goes into developing a propulsion system as a freshman.
Yeah, so I also, like Alex and Lyssa, got involved in research in my freshman year. I worked in a robotics lab for 2 years, learned a lot of programming, but then after 2 years I decided that I wanted to do something a little more related to my field, so I moved into an electrical engineering lab through a professor that I'd had a class with that I got along really well with. And so now that's the research that I'm doing. I'm doing research in mixed signal circuits.
Similar to Morelle and Coco, I got involved with research my freshman year. I was more interested in biological sciences, so I emailed a couple professors in that department studying Drosophila and seeing how stress affects their mitochondria and their lifespan. So I got to meet a lot of people from other majors, not just in chemical engineering, and got to talk to a lot of professors about their work regarding that.
Our next question is about double majoring. So Does anybody here have a minor or can speak about their double major experience? Why don't we start with Zach Gima?
Yeah, sure. I can answer this question a little bit. Right when I came into USC, I really wanted to also continue my Spanish studies. So since my freshman year, I've been studying Spanish. I actually studied abroad my sophomore year summer in Buenos Aires through the Spanish department. And I found I've been able to kind of get a Spanish class every semester, and it's been a really great break from engineering classes, although I enjoy those, obviously, as an engineer. So I would definitely say it's very doable. You just have to, you really want to come into USC with a strong idea of what you want to double.
Yeah, so I like Zach, I also minored. I'm minoring in psychology and law. I thought that it'd be a nice dynamic between engineering, the technical aspect, as well as getting to know people more. I found that you're able to take classes in the psychology department in Dorn Psych, and USC really emphasizes an interdisciplinary or taking courses outside of your major. So then I decided to take more of the psychology classes, and I found that it's also a passion of mine. But in order to graduate, I decided to do a minor, but it's very doable, and I love it.
Yeah, I also got to take a lot of psychology classes too because I have a minor in consumer behavior, which is from the Marshall School of Business. So I also take marketing classes and classes from the Annenberg School of Communications too, to learn about advertising. And it's useful, and it kind of applies to chemical engineering in a way when you're working in groups and you're trying to understand how other people want to view your product and you're trying to sell it. So I've found that it's helped me a lot in my internships too.
Okay, so our next question is about class sizes. Coco, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure, Natalie. So with class sizes, it's obviously going to vary based on your class and based on your major. So I'm an astronautical engineering major, which has relatively small classes. So my Astro 280 course is around 30 students. Other courses have had anywhere from 20 students to 50 students, but I'd say that's an approximate range. Most engineering courses are between 20 and 50.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about my classes. Some classes outside of engineering are actually really small too. I know, example, for my freshman and my advanced writing course, there are about 15 to 20 people, which was really nice. You got a nice relationship with the professor. And then some of my technical courses in my petroleum engineering classes, you'll have lectures which can be between 30 and 40 people, but then you have labs which are between 10 and 15, so that also breaks it up.
Okay, the next question that we have is about career fairs and what type of events are going on campus to help students get jobs and internships. So I guess I'll start this one off. I'm really going to be interning with Accenture Consulting this summer as a business technology integration consultant. And so I went to the career fair, I talked to people there, I got more information about the position, and then as I was going through the application and process, I went to the career fair all the time on my resume and interview skills. I'd never done a case interview, I was kind of nervous for that. They're really helpful. There's always someone there in Viterbi Career Center that's separate from the University Career Center, so that was really helpful to have people just having to do with engineering.
So I also went to the Viterbi Career Fair in the fall, and I met some really cool people from industry. I ended up meeting a manager from Micron, and he offered me an interview the next day. So I interviewed with Micron the next day, and they ended up getting back to me about a week later and giving me a job offer. So it worked really well. Also, my advisor this past fall emailed me about a job opportunity at Boeing, and so I ended up getting an interview with them on campus, and that is where I'm going to be working this summer.
Yeah, I also went to the career fairs, and I'll be interning at Chevron this summer. What was cool about that is that they actually have a lot of alumni that came from USC, and they came to talk to our class, and they even held a workshop for mock interviews and resume reviews, so I got to do that before I actually officially interviewed with them.
All right, thank you, everyone. So our next question is just a specific one that we'll get out of the way really fast, and it asks, what's the difference between business computer science and just plain CSCI? So Zach, I know you're computer science, so why don't you just quick clear up the confusion?
Yeah, so in the computer science program, you get a lot of space within your curriculum for technical electives. And if you choose to do business and computer science, then you'll be using those technical electives to take courses from the business school. And the way it works is the business school has picked out courses that it thinks are essential to getting a business degree, and you'll take those courses as part of your CS curriculum in the business school for the business computer science degree. Whereas if you just do computer science, you can pick out anything you want for those technical electives. You can take video game classes, security classes, graphics classes, artificial intelligence classes, really anything you want. So the business computer science program just picks your technical electives for you.
Thanks, Zach. We're going to go on to another question now, and that will be, how do AP credits transfer? So for those of you that came in AP credits, Lauren, why don't we get started with you? How'd that process go for you?
All right, so around, I think it was April or May of my senior year, I got a piece of paper saying which AP credits would transfer, and for me it was the majority of them gave me 4 units of credit. I think all my 4s and 5s got me 4 units of credits, and then some of them actually tested me out of classes. So my calculus tested me out of a class, and a couple of my other ones tested me out too.
Yeah, and just building off of what Lauren said, I took AP Calculus BC. I got out of Calc 125 and 126, which is Calc 1 and 2, or Math 125, 126. I got out of Chemistry with a 5 in the AP Chemistry exam. It really is going to vary major to major, person to person with your scores and what courses you need to take. But if you get a 4 or 5 in Chemistry and Calculus, it's normally going to transfer over. Physics does not transfer over at USC. But those are some basic science courses that you'll probably have to worry about.
Thanks, Alex. All right, we're going to head on to the next question, and the question is, how many labs are required for the classes? So just briefly to clear things up, you'll never have more than 1 lab associated with a specific course, but we're going to go to Greg to kick us off with his experience in labs associated with lectures or standalone labs.
Yeah, so I mean, my experience in chemical engineering specifically, a lot of the initial chemical engineering classes during my sophomore year were much more theory-based, and my labs are mostly coming from chemistry classes and physics classes that weren't explicitly engineering. Once I got into my junior year, I actually took a course called Chemical Engineering Laboratory, which is a class all chemical engineers take, and that's involves a once-a-week lab that it's 3 hours every week. It's you're doing these chemical engineering topics that you've focused on in your theory classes, which kind of neat. You apply some of the theory you've learned in the classroom into these labs, and then every lab requires a formal report, which can vary in size from like 30 to 50 pages. So it's a difficult class, but I think it's a good practice, especially if you're going to go out into like research or into the job field. You need to know how to write professional reports and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and in computer science for the labs, what you'll have to do is you'll have to do computer science labs where usually you'll go in and you'll have to practically apply what you talked about in lecture by building some sort of a program. And then later on, you'll also take electrical engineering classes where you'll go in and you'll be using like a breadboard or an FPGA board or software to create circuits and different electrical engineering constructs based on what you learned in class. So a cool example we worked on in one of my classes, we used an FPGA board, and you'd program hardware logic onto it. And so one of my class made something really neat, which was an audio visualizer, like the iTunes visualizer, where you put music into it, and it would make a display onto a VGA display. And it was a display based on what the music was doing, and this was all just done with hardware logic. So it's a really neat little project just to apply what we did in class.
Yeah, similarly, so I've taken physics and this other course called AME 341, which is mechatronics. Physics was a little more concept-based, so you have testing out the concepts you learn in class and seeing that they're actually true in real life. But when you go to mechatronics, it's more of hands-on. You're able to see how the circuits are function, your op amps. You're able to basically characterize signals, acoustics, and it's combining the mechanical aspects with the electronics and the optical. So right now we're currently working with wind tunnels, and then we'll be moving on to shock waves and then optics. But this is very much a hands-on laboratory, and it's kind of figuring it out as you go and learning by trial and error. So it's a great lab.
Thanks, Marcus. We're going to head on. Next question deals with Greek life at USC, and it's just what's it like? So I know a lot of people here are in Greek life, so let's start with what's been your experiences?
All right. I'm involved in Greek life here at USC. I personally really enjoy it. It was one of the best decisions I've made here at USC. It's less than 20%, I think, of the student body at USC, so it's big if it can be big a part of your college experience if you make it, or if I know a lot of people that don't join Greek life and they still have as much fun as anyone else that joined Greek life. I personally love it. It's a great opportunity to meet a ton of people and to really bond. Like, I love all of my sisters, so it's really fun.
Yeah, I think Lauren. I'll kind of build off Lauren a little bit. It's a great time. I mean, I really have met a lot of great people through my social fraternity. I've had a lot of great experiences, either through philanthropy or social events. But at the same time, Greek life really isn't everything. I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but I believe it's less than 1/5 of students here at USC are part of Greek life. So, is it everything? No, but it's a great time, and you do get a lot out of it if you so choose to do Greek life.
Yeah, and I'm part of Greek life as well. I joined at the start of my freshman year, and it's been absolutely awesome. The guys in my house are most of my closest friends. It's just a ton of fun to be able to live in the same house as 30 other of my closest friends and get to know all these guys. And also, it's been a great opportunity to have some leadership experience as an undergrad. As the social chair of our fraternity for a year, I got to plan so many events and work with so many great people. It was really a phenomenal experience just to see what it was like to be in charge of a large group of people and manage that sort of money and responsibility for a year and direct the house as part of the executive board. So it's been an overall great experience.
Okay, so for our next question, Nora asked what the experience is like as a female engineer entering a male-dominated area or industry. So Nora, so glad you asked that. We actually just did a whole series of blogs this past week on what our experiences are as women in engineering. So if you head on over to viterbivoices.usc.edu/WIE, you'll get a preview of all of those things. And I think something else will be coming out in the email about that. But I think I can really speak for a lot of us, and I know other girls will chime in after this, but there really isn't much of a difference at USC. I feel like there's almost just as many girls as guys in all of my classes. In fact, my specialty program in my major is exactly 50-50. And there are a lot of support organizations that you can join, whether it's the Society of Women Engineers or just other organizations on campus. But yeah, it's been a really great experience, and there definitely isn't. It doesn't seem like there's a difference at Viterbi. So Hannah, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything Natalie says, and I kind of talk about it in my blog post, but along with those other organizations, like on the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, almost more than half of the e-board are females also. Some of my professors for chemical engineering are also women, and so I've never felt that it's been only males or that I've felt inferior in any way, that I couldn't approach or ask any questions. My study groups are both boys and girls in them, so definitely there hasn't been a problem.
Thanks, Hannah. We're going to head on into a question regarding the Trojan family. So for those of you that maybe haven't heard, around a lot here at USC, and it sounds kind of cheesy at times, but it's definitely a real thing. So if you guys want to start talking about your experiences with the Trojan family and how it's a very real thing, that'd be great. So we're going to get started with Alex.
So yeah, I had a very great experience with the Trojan family, and one that isn't quite as unique as it'll sound. At the Stanford football game last fall, I met an alumni named Tom Kuby, who graduated from the business school at USC in the 1970s, and he had a very close friend who works at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. And being an astronautical engineer, working at JPL is a dream job. And over the last few months, I've been in contact with Mr. Kuby's friend at JPL, and this summer I'll be studying abroad, but hopefully next summer I'll be able to continue that relationship and have a job at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And it's just great to see alumni from this Trojan family giving back to current students. I think that's the biggest part of the Trojan family.
I mean, I completely agree with Alex. Outside of like the career setting, with the career setting actually, a ton of my friends have gotten jobs at like SpaceX or Boeing or Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, and they kind of pass that along to other people from USC. So they know what you've gone through, the classes, the rigor that you've been exposed to, and the experiences that you have, and they know that you're a good fit for this company. But outside of like the careers, I've gone to these things called SC suppers, which is basically you get to go to an alumni's house and have dinner with him or her and a bunch of other alumni, and you can pick their brains, share experiences, and see how their college life was different than yours. And from that, it keeps that tradition strong, keeps the family ties strong, and you're actually able to see that the alumni are real people, and they're people who really want to give back. They're so passionate and so willing to open up their lives and their homes to you that it's amazing.
The Trojan family is definitely really real. I'm lucky enough to have a Trojan family. Both my parents went here. My sister's joining me this next fall. But I remember the summer before I came to USC, I was just at the gym and I had my USC backpack on, and someone came up to me, asked me if I went to SC. I was like, yeah, I did. And he invited me to this really cool event that was happening down in San Diego the next weekend that I would have never heard of if I hadn't just had my USC backpack with me that day. So it's definitely a really real connection. It's a good thing to be a part of, and I definitely feel it whenever I'm walking around campus.
Yeah, I think I can jump in here too. So unlike a lot of other people who may have already talked, I'm not really from this side of the country, but even when I go home in Missouri in the Midwest, there's still a strong Trojan family. I know there's a St. Louis chapter and like a Chicago chapter of Trojans, and they get together on a pretty consistent basis, and it's just great even when I go home to have that connection and that grounding to USC.
Yeah, so I mean, I've had kind of an interesting experience with the whole Trojan family thing. I mean, as a freshman, I came to see campus before when I was in high school. Definitely felt like there was something on campus that made me want to be a part of it. I think students at USC, they walk around campus and it feels a little bit different than walking around any other university that I went to. And then being in the band, it's been really neat. I've met people who were in the trombone section 30, 40 years ago. We all know like the same songs. We have songs like the Fight Song and Tribute to Troy, and these are songs that have been through the university for years and years and years, and everyone knows them, and you're able to have kind of a similar experience. So I've really enjoyed that, and it kind of makes you feel like a part of a special community.
Yeah, and just to build off what everyone said, everyone really loves to go to USC, and all the alumni are very proud that it's water. And you can be walking and you go to the beach and you have a USC hat on and someone comes up and says fight on, or you're in the airport and the people behind you also in security line also go to USC and like your friends after that. And it's crazy that everywhere you go there's people who went to USC, and it's really cool that everyone goes up and talks to each other and feels connected by that and doesn't just like say like, oh, that's a person in a USC hat. Like they really go out of their way to make you feel like a part of the family, and it grows and grows every year, which is really cool.
All right, so thank you everyone for bearing with us here for a little bit there. The live chat was only showing Zach B. So apologies to everyone out there. Thank you for sticking with us, and we're going to head on into the next question right now.
So our next question is about engineers studying abroad. We have a lot of engineers here that have studied abroad, whether it was in the summer or through other programs. So Zachy, would you want to start talking about your abroad experience?
Yeah, sure. So I think my study abroad experience was maybe a little atypical to what other people in this chat have done. So I actually, like I mentioned, I went through the Spanish department. It kind of speaks to how accessible all of the study abroad opportunities really are. I was looking for something more language intensive than what is put on through Viterbi. And so instead I decided to go through my minor, and I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina for a summer. I lived with a homestay, was cooked traditional Argentinian food, lived with a lovely old lady, and just had great conversations about life and just practicing my Spanish while also taking a class at a local university.
So I also studied abroad over the summer on a really cool program called the Viterbi Summer Abroad Program. I actually went with Gavin and Natalie. We traveled to Madrid with about 30 USC students and USC faculty and took classes in Madrid that were engineering courses, and it was one of the best experiences. But if you're not like me and want to leave USC for more than the summer, it's totally possible. My friend right now is studying in Hong Kong. Another friend of mine was in Australia last semester, so there are a ton of opportunities even if you're in engineering.
Yeah, and just to build off that, another really cool program that I did last summer with Gavin and Zach Gema, we went to South Korea for 2 weeks through the Viterbi Podia program, which is a really cool class that you take, and it's a joint program between USC and 5 other universities. So there were people from Germany, Korea, China, and Israel, and we all traveled to South Korea end of the course, which was about global innovation, and spent 2 weeks there exploring the culture, getting to know the students, learning from their faculty on their campus as well. And I'm actually TAing the course this year, and we'll be going to Israel, so that's a really cool way to get abroad as well.
All right, so we're going to head into the next question now. Next question is, can engineers take classes outside of their major or outside of engineering? So both in engineering and outside of engineering. We're going to start out with Alex for this one. Which classes have you maybe taken Viterbi that were not astroengineering and maybe outside of Viterbi?
So, Gavin, I have not taken a class outside of astro or aerospace engineering yet within Viterbi, but I do plan, on taking a computer science course in the next few years, or next 2 years at Viterbi. Outside of Viterbi, I've taken a few fun classes. This semester, I took sailing, where I sailed to Catalina Island a few weeks ago, and last semester I took ballroom dancing. So USC definitely encourages engineers to get outside of their bubble and to take these courses outside of engineering. I think Hannah has a few other more academic classes outside of Viterbi that she took.
Yeah, like we were talking about before, I have a minor in consumer behavior, so I've gotten to take courses from both Dornsife and Marshall. I got to take social psychology, which was kind of cool. It's like 101 on how to get people to do stuff that you want to do. But as far as within Viterbi goes, my emphasis is nanotechnology, but I've also, like I said, I'm interning at Chevron and am interested in petroleum, so I'm planning to take some chemical engineering petroleum classes that, while they're not for my major, are within Viterbi.
And just building off what Hannah said, yeah, there's tons of ways to take classes outside of your specific major. I'm also chemical nanotechnology emphasis, but I've taken material science classes for that. I'm taking a biomedical engineering class right now about biochemical engineering, so that's been really cool. And I do have a minor, so I've taken a lot of art history classes outside of Viterbi, and also your general education classes are really a good opportunity to get to explore some subjects outside of math, science, and engineering. I've gotten to take a philosophy class through that. You take your writing classes, so you are taking a lot of engineering classes, a lot of math, a lot of science, but there's always that balance in your schedule. You're rarely going to be taking all engineering and math classes at one time, which makes it really nice to balance everything and keep the other aspects of your education well-rounded.
Okay, so our next question is for Zach Aramall specifically. We have a student who wants to know specifically, Zach, how did you get your internship at Bloomberg for this summer? So if you want to tell us a bit more about that experience.
Yeah, so in my software design class, a USC student who'd interned there last summer and was going back to work full-time came in and actually spoke to our class about applying. It's a good example of Trojan family. And so I applied online and then I did a phone interview with them. And then I was flown out to New York to do an on-site technical interview, software design interview, writing code, all that sort of stuff. And then they offered me the position. So that's one way to get a job, even without going to the career fair. Like I said, USC graduates come back and tell you to apply for the jobs, and I actually met the person at Bloomberg who organized the presentation, so it's kind of neat to see how much how much connection USC has for this sort of a thing. And yeah, I also go to all the career fairs, so it's kind of funny that it worked out that the one I did get was not through the career fair.
Thanks, Zach. Next question that came in, somebody wants to know what if I want to switch my major. And so I'm going to really quickly address, sort of maybe why you would want to switch your major and then how you'd go about that or how I went about that. So I actually came into USC as an astronautical engineering major, like Alex. And I loved it. It was great. I loved my Astronautics 101 course. During your first semester at Viterbi, you will take 2 courses. The first one will be Astronautics 101, Mechanical Engineering 101, whatever you decide, or Undeclared Engineering 101 if you are undeclared. You'll also take a course called Freshman Academy, and what Freshman Academy is designed to do is to expose you to all of the other disciplines of engineering, so that, if you're not happy in your 101 course, maybe you talk to other engineers in your academy course who are from all sorts of disciplines, and maybe you'll find your niche within those other students' disciplines. So I loved astroengineering. I thought it was great. Stuck with it for 2.5 years. In the middle of my junior year, I switched to mechanical engineering. It was a decision based on my sort of career trajectory, I thought at the time. I think it was a good overall decision, nothing against astronautical engineering, and most importantly, it was a very quick change. I literally just went into the main Viterbi offices, said, hey, I'm interested in switching my major. They handed me a form. I took it to my current astronautics advisor. She signed it, said she was sad to see me go, took it to my new mechanical engineering advisor. She signed it and said she was happy to have one more student in mechanical engineering, and that was it. So it was a very quick process. It was great. And I know, Morelle, I think you came in as undeclared engineering, so maybe you can talk about your experiences with that.
Yeah, so I did come in as an undeclared engineer. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I started taking some computer science classes in my freshman year, along with my computer science research. And to try and figure out what I actually wanted to major in, I started talking to some other students, seeing what their courses were like. There's also a really cool thing that Viterbi puts on called Viterbi Spotlight Sessions. So about every 2 weeks, Viterbi brings in alumni from a certain major, and you can hear where they're at and what they've been doing with their degree. And so I went to a few of those and eventually decided that electrical engineering was the right fit for me. So in the middle of my sophomore year, I declared electrical engineering, and that's what I've been ever since.
All right, thanks, Morelle. We're going to go into our next question here, and it's a safety question. And so we're going to kick this off with Greg. Greg, what's been your experiences with safety here on campus?
Well, let's see. I'm just gonna go through my 4 years, I guess. Freshman year, I lived on campus. Actually, didn't go much off campus, so I wasn't really aware of kind of security off campus. I wasn't really sure if it was safe or not. Sophomore year, I actually moved off campus and lived in an apartment about 2 blocks off campus. And I was hesitant at first. You hear about LA is a dangerous place, but in my experience, it's not necessarily about it being dangerous. It's about making smart choices. There are a lot of resources available to you to be educated. The university tells you, make obvious choices. Don't walk around with your headphones at night, things like that. There's many resources to get you from point A to point B safely if you need them. We have a service called Campus Cruiser, which you can call, and there'll be a car, and they'll come pick you up and take you where you need to go. If you're studying late at night, like at the library or something like that, and you need to get home, just give them a call. There are also safety officers, ambassadors around campus, around the area of campus, and they're just there just to watch out for you guys. And so yeah, it's nice. I think I never felt unsafe walking around campus or outside of campus, and I feel like USC has done a good job of providing students resources to be safe and make smart choices.
Yeah, I completely agree with Greg. In my 4 years here at USC, I've never felt unsafe when I'm walking around campus or back to my apartment after I'm done with my classes and work on campus for the day. I have a bike and I just bike back to my apartment, or if it's a little cold, I guess, for Southern California standards, I will call a campus cruiser at night to pick me up from the library or one of the classrooms that I'm studying in on campus. But like Greg said, it's really just about being smart and being aware of your surroundings and not doing anything that would put you in harm in a large city, since Los Angeles is a very large city. So as long as you take the usual safety precautions, I haven't had any experiences in the last 4 years where I felt unsafe.
Yeah, just to add on with them, I haven't felt unsafe my 2 years here so far. Like they said, there's campus cruiser, there's security officers every block or so. I've had classes that end at 8 or so, and I've walked back or biked back from my classes. I've never felt unsafe here at USC.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, and our next question is one of my favorites we always get. It's no question that the engineering is certainly a lot of work, but it can be very rewarding as well. The question is, can engineers have a life outside of engineering? So Hannah, I'm going to start this one off with you. What do you do maybe outside of engineering that keeps you going?
Well, there's, like we talked about before, there's so many organizations on campus that you can get involved with. Personally, one of my favorites is I'm on Neon Time, which is a university online newspaper, and I draw from them. But aside from student organizations, like I mentioned before, I'm from New Jersey, so one of the main reasons I came out to LA was to explore the area. So on weekends, whenever I'm free, I get the chance to do the touristy things, like visit Hollywood, do different hikes around Griffith Park, and hit the beaches. So every time like I finish my homework or just want to take a break from it, I've had the time to go out with my friends and really see what LA is all about.
I completely agree with Hannah, especially with the beaches. Every beach seems to have its own culture. So I've been trying to explore LA as well. I found that Yelp is definitely my best friend when I come to college. You get to try all the different foods around LA. It's fantastic. Aside from that, a lot of the art centers or a lot of the museums have open house or like college nights. So just at LACMA, which is the Los Angeles Center or like Art Museum. So they had a college night, and all of different colleges from around Los Angeles and Southern California came out to visit. And actually, the Getty Museum is having a college night tomorrow, so I'll probably be there.
Yeah, building off what Marcus and Hannah said, I mean, this is Los Angeles. I mean, you really can't get a better city than this if you're a college student. There's so many great things to do that I've done outside of class, especially on the weekends. I mean, next weekend I'm going to a Dodgers game. I've gone camping in Yosemite National Park, Joshua Tree National Park. There's the beaches. I've developed a love for Korean barbecue. There's so many great things to do in Los Angeles, and it's so diverse and varied that, I mean, I've always found time on the weekends to make a little time to explore. I think I definitely would encourage all of you to do the same.
Yeah. So another thing to add on to that is that all of our student profiles, if you log on to Viterbi links, have all of our favorite spots in LA on our Yelp pages, which you can click on from our student profiles. So if you haven't checked that out yet on Viterbi links, be sure to do that. Also, our next question is about the interaction with faculty here at Viterbi. So how accessible are your faculty members? Have you been able to go talk to them, let's say in office hours or after class, for instance? So for that one, Lauren, why don't we start off with you for that one?
Awesome. Yeah, I recently was struggling in a class, so I emailed my professor on a Sunday night. Monday morning, he got back to me, and by 10 a.m. Monday morning, I had the contact information of a senior who was in computer science that was going to be able to help me for the class. He also gave me some other resources for the class. I've had similar experiences in other classes as well, where I just talk to the professor, go and see him during office hours, and they're completely willing to help you. Definitely willing to write letters of recommendation. Majority of my professors all know me on a first name basis, which is nice.
Yeah, one really cool thing coming into freshman year was that first day of class, the professor hands you a syllabus, and it has on there, the name of the course, and then right below, professor's office hours, their office, the times that are available during the week. All the professors, they'll say, if you can't come in during my office hours, email me. We'll try to schedule an appointment. If you're struggling with a class or you need to talk to them or about anything like that, they're very accessible. They want to talk to you. They want to try to help you. That's a big part of USC, I think, that I've been able to feel. One really cool thing was my junior year in my physical chemistry course, which was Chem 430A. It's actually not in engineering explicitly, but I was actually able to create a really good relationship with my chemistry professor, and he was kind of my main mentor in looking towards graduate school and applying to graduate schools and different opportunities like that. So professors, I think, really reach out. They understand, we're going to be the generation that's going to replace them as scientists and engineers, and I think you really feel that on campus.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Greg was saying, that the professors really understand that you are the next breed. So they want to make sure that whatever student does well in the class, or all the students, really understand the material, and it's something that the professor can put their name behind. In my personal experience, the times I can't make office hours, professors have given me their cell phone number or their home number and said, "Hey, call me anytime before 11 p.m." And for me, that works perfectly because I'm pretty busy with classes or other extracurriculars. So just having the openness to talk to them when I have time and pretty late at night is a huge plus.
Thanks, Marcus. All right, our next question is how do you get involved in student orgs? And everyone can who speaks to this can maybe talk about how they got involved in maybe their favorite student org and talk a little bit about the organization itself. So Alex, let's start out with you. I know you're involved in Rocket Lab and some other things. So how'd you get involved in this?
Yeah, so I got involved with Rocket Lab actually through my Astro 101 professor, Dr. Irwin. Dr. Irwin talked about the group in class one day, and I went up to him after class and said, "Dr. Irwin, how can I get involved?" And he instantly gave me the email address of Jordan Noon, who leads the laboratory, and next week I was working in the Rocket Lab. So that's how I got involved in Rocket Lab. I love it. I'm currently working on the recovery team, which is developing the parachute package for our upcoming rocket Traveler. But yeah, that's how I got involved in Rocket Lab through Dr. Irwin.
Yeah, I can piggyback on this too. So two of the organizations I've been primarily involved with since I've been an undergrad have been the USC Men's Club Rugby and USC Engineers Without Borders. And now both groups actually kind of recruit new students in a similar way. So with rugby, there's a general intramural sports and club sports fair at the beginning of each semester, and that's kind of how I got latched on to the USC men's team. I was over by the Lion Center, the workout facility here on campus, and I stopped by the booth, and I had played in high school, so I figured why not, and I've been on the team for 4 years. Now similarly with Engineers Without Borders, there's a Viterbi specific involvement fair, I think both semesters, definitely in the fall. And I had done my research a little bit about Engineers Without Borders and knew I wanted to get involved, and it was as easy as just signing up on a general involvement sheet and then attending meetings from there on out.
Yeah, similar to what Zach just said, one of my favorite organizations is the American Institute of Chemical Engineers because I found that it's helped me a lot with my classes and with looking for internships and just really learning about what chemical engineering is about. And it started off with just putting my email down on a list. Lyssa is also on the executive board with me, and I've gotten to work with her. And since she's a year older, she's helped me a lot with helping me plan my schedule and how to manage my time well and figure out what I would really want to do with chemical engineering in the industry.
Like Zach, I also got involved in club sports. My freshman year, I was part of the Frisbee team, and I met some really great people through it. It was really, really fun. And another really cool student org that I'm involved in this semester is the Autonomous Underwater Vehicle Club. So they create an underwater vehicle that has to move autonomously through an obstacle course. So there's a competition over the summer, but it's really cool because the students do everything. This semester I was working on a project that would work for the batteries that power the vehicle. So there's plenty of things to get involved with.
Thanks, Morelle. All right, we're going to head to our next question, and that is talking about freshman housing options. So there's a few different main housing options here. So Greg, we're going to start off with you. Maybe what what style of housing did you live in freshman year, and maybe a little bit about the other ones?
Yeah, so things were actually a little different my freshman year. There is now an option for incoming freshmen to live in an apartment. That wasn't an option my freshman year. I personally ended up living in Parkside Arts and Humanities Residential College, which was kind of on the southwest corner of campus. It was an 8-person suite, so I lived with seven other people. That consisted of 4 rooms of 2 people, and in that suite, there were 2 bathrooms exclusive to that suite. So that was a great experience for me. I enjoyed that experience. It was a little bit more of an intimate environment. I got to know my 7 other suitemates very well. But I think freshman housing is going to really be about, who your experience. Do you want to live in a traditional 2-person dorm, or do you want to be kind of in a suite living? Do you want to know people down your hall, or do you kind of want to be with just your suite? I would say that being a certain kind of engineer wouldn't limit you to certain housing options. There isn't like all the engineers live here or all the art majors live here. People are spread out all over the different housing options on campus your freshman year, so you're not limiting yourself. It really depends on kind of what you want. I liked being in the suite style environment. I liked that my residential college had air conditioning. That was nice, and it was right near one of the cafeterias. So there were some options that I kind of looked at, but it really to be dependent upon things that I would suggest. Don't look at just academics. Look at things outside that you would enjoy having your freshman year.
Yeah, just to jump on to what Greg has said, I think one of the coolest parts about USC housing is that you do get to meet people from all sorts of different majors. So my roommate my freshman year was a business major. We actually met each other through a group, and I've lived with her for 3 years now. So your freshman roommate can turn into your best friend. And I lived in a dorm-style housing my year. I lived in New North College, residential college. And I loved that. I love the long hauls of people, and that there was always someone new to meet, and people there were very friendly and open to meeting new people, which was what I really wanted out of my freshman housing experience. So like Greg said, it's just really what you're looking for, and if you want to get really close to a couple people or have a lot of acquaintances, and you can do that in any sort of housing as well. But again, just one of the best parts is that you can meet people from all sorts of different majors, and my was an engineer, the girl down the hall was pre-med, there was a gender studies major on my floor, so you get to see a lot of things that are going on in the rest of the university through your freshman housing experience, which is cool.
Yeah, adding on to the diversity of people you can meet, there are also special interest floors that you can look into in certain dorms. That you could be an engineer, but if you want to find people that are also interested in art and music, there's a floor where it's like they do activities focused on art. Like they'll have trips that go to like LACMA and other galleries that Marcus mentioned earlier. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities to meet people outside of engineering or engineers also.
Okay, so our next question is about academic advising. So we meet with our advisors multiple times throughout the year, and Zach, why don't you start talking about some of the interactions you've had with your academic advisor here at Viterbi?
Yeah, the comp sci advisor here at Viterbi is awesome. He's the man. Once a semester, he'll email me a course plan telling me what I need to take every semester for the rest of my 4 years to graduate on time. And I email him back saying these are the courses I want to take, and that's the end of that. You get cleared for my registration. But then when you're earlier on into the program, you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you'll actually spend more time talking to your advisor. When you're a freshman, you'll need to go in and meet with your advisor to get forms signed and make sure you're on the right track. And as you get farther into the program, then the advisors give you a little bit more trust. But they're extremely accessible, and I've always had a great experience with my advisor, with him answering my questions and making sure I'm on track to graduate.
Yeah, definitely. I met with my advisor actually this past Thursday. She gave me a course plan for the next 2 years here at SC. I also got to talk to her about studying abroad this summer and how that's going to fit into my schedule, as well as possibly doing the progressive degree program. It was great getting to meet with her, and I got to tell her what I wanted to get out of my USC experience. She helped me shape that into my 4-year plan here at USC.
All right, thanks, Lauren. So we're going to move into our final question now. Just as an added note, if we did not get to your question tonight, please send us an email. You can find an email at viterbivoices.usc.edu, which is what you guys are currently on, hopefully, viewing this. So, delegate those responses to those who can appropriately answer that, and hopefully answer every single question that you guys have. Our final question for the evening will be, what other schools did you guys get into, and why did you end up picking USC in the end? So, Alex, we're just going to start out with you and go down the line with everyone. Alex, tell us a little bit about your decision process.
So in the end, I got into 3 schools: USC, Georgia Tech, and the University of Miami. I actually got offered full tuition scholarships to both Georgia Tech and Miami, but I ended up choosing USC because not only is USC has a great engineering school in Viterbi, USC is neat because it's very academically diverse. I mean, so many people here are doing so many different things. A lot of my closest friends are in cinematic arts, music industry, business, political science, and I really felt to fully enjoy college and fully develop as a student, I really needed that opportunity to experience so many different types of academics and so many different types of people.
Yeah, so thinking back to senior year of high school was a while ago, but I remember when it came down to it, came down to deciding between UC San Diego and USC. And I think I ended up choosing USC. After visiting here, I kind of touched on this earlier, but I felt a vibe on campus that was unique to any other place I visited. I feel like people who go to USC really love being here. They love the university. They understand that it's not just themselves, a part of a larger family and a big community. And that was infectious to me when I first visited. I also was really interested in going to a university that focused on research, and not only just research in general, but giving undergraduates the opportunity to do research. That's why I jumped into it. I didn't get a chance to discuss that much during the live chat. You guys can always check out my blog to read more about research opportunities, but that was hugely important to me. So that was basically why I chose USC.
Yeah, I ended up coming down between USC and Carnegie Mellon, which the weather here definitely helped steer that decision, but ultimately I felt like USC encouraged an interdisciplinary study, and I knew I wanted a minor, and so I ended up coming with consumer behavior here. But more than that was that USC has so many resources available that are accessible. Like, I don't feel overwhelmed by everything from the career services to supplemental instruction. I feel like I'm able to get all of that one-on-one without having to talk to multiple people in order to use them.
Lauren, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Whoops, sorry, forgot I was on mute. When I got into UCLA and UCSD in addition to USC, it really came down to the Trojan family and the camaraderie and the spirit here at USC. I really just felt at home here, and I felt that everyone else around here was family, and I could just see it whenever I was on campus.
Yeah, likewise. So I think it came down to also UC San Diego, UCLA, and then University of Washington up north in Seattle. But I really found that at USC you're able to you definitely have that family vibe. If everyone's wearing university sweatshirts, and everyone has that whole school pride. In high school, I did sports. I did basketball and track, and I really wanted to continue this tradition of having people there who also enjoyed that interdisciplinary, work hard but play hard type vibe. And it's very much the case here. In addition, LA is a great place with tons of industry connections, so you're able to find internships and jobs very quickly while you're an undergrad and when you graduate.
So when I was making college decisions, I was deciding between my state school, University of Washington, UPenn, and UC Berkeley, and USC. And so I'm probably going to echo a lot of what's already been said, but I think USC is incredible because it just has so many resources. When I had a random project I wanted to work on outside of class, it was a matter of days before I had access into an EE lab with all kinds of fun machines and things. But even though it's kind of got so many resources, it doesn't feel like a huge school. When I came and visited, I kind of felt like it felt a little homey. And like Greg said, I think that there's a really cool environment here. Everyone here seems to be really happy to be here, and I really felt that when I came and visited.
So when I was deciding between colleges 4 years ago, I was deciding between USC, MIT, Yale, and Columbia, and it was a really difficult decision for me because I knew that I wanted to study civil engineering, my major, but I also wanted to have kind of the whole college experience. I was a part of activities in high school that I wanted to continue, like lacrosse, and I really feel that USC gave me the opportunity to get a great engineering education and do all the other things I was interested in and join a lot of different student organizations. And like everybody else said, of campus, I love the atmosphere. I love being a part of the Trojan family, and of course having great sports teams doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, and for me, when it came down to it at the end between Cornell, Georgetown, and USC, but I can't really say I considered it for all that long once I got my final USC admissions back. When I visited campus, I just loved it so much here. Everybody was so happy and genuine, and people just seemed to love everything about the school. There's so many great academic programs here, so whatever you decide you're interested in, even if it's not what you initially thought it would be, you can switch programs and still be in a great place. And there's just an amazing vibe around campus. I know a lot of other people have said that already, but it's really just true. It's a really great place to live for 4 years and go to school for 4 years, and I just couldn't say no to that.
Yeah, so much like everyone else has mentioned, like I was kind of also looking at just like really strong engineering schools. I knew I wanted to do engineering, so I was deciding between here, Vanderbilt, Washington University in St. Louis, and basically what it came down to me was I felt USC was going to be the place, kind of like Greg mentioned, where I was going to be able to really get involved in undergraduate research. It was something that was very stressed from the beginning, and it was just something I immediately latched onto. Additionally, constantly hearing about the small class sizes was something that was also attractive. But I think just beyond engineering, as you notice, a lot of us have interests that span greater than just engineering, and I really wanted to get international experience. I'd never been out of the country before I came to college, and that's something I really wanted to be a part of my college experience. So I think that USC's focus on the international aspect of learning and industry and whatnot was also what pushed me to come here.
And yeah, just echoing what everyone has said, I was choosing between some great schools as well. I'm from California. I really didn't want to leave. So USC and UCLA were my top two. I was also deciding between MIT and UCI. But USC really stood out for a lot of reasons. The people here are so happy and so genuinely passionate about whatever it is that they're involved in, and it seems like everyone is involved in something that they absolutely love. I was also a cheerleader in high school, so the sports were really important to me. I really wanted a school with a lot of great activities and spirit going on all the time, and I love the weather and the location, and being in the middle of a big city is awesome. There's so many opportunities and things to do off campus, as well as all the opportunities on campus, which I've really enjoyed.
All right, I'm gonna end this here with why I chose USC. I was originally deciding between USC, UCLA, Harvey Mudd, which is the engineering school of the Claremont colleges, and Princeton. I was actually sort of preliminarily enrolled in Princeton until I came to USC for the Explore USC program, and you know, after coming to the program, I was just so amped on USC. As everyone said, the accessibility of research, which I knew was going to make me a stronger candidate for whatever I wanted to do in the future, whether that had been a PhD, going into industry, or applying to something completely different like med school or law school or anything like that. There are so many reasons. Zach and I currently live together. We have a house of a lot of engineers, but also people in completely different disciplines. One of our roommates is a professional choreographer. One is the sort of the main guy on the USC cycling team. Just some really awesome people that you wouldn't get anywhere else, I feel like. And finally, I originally thought that I didn't want to go to a big city. It was something that I hadn't really considered. And after going to the countless career fairs that Viterbi and USC as a whole have had, I can say that being in a big city is a great thing and will provide you with innumerable opportunities down the road simply because of the volume of employers and things like that that exist in Los Angeles. Plus, the LA weather, it's not too bad. So with that, I'm gonna close out the live chat. If you guys want more information, please check out viterbivoices.usc.edu. Admitted students should have a login where they can access the portal with more information about us and USC as a whole. So please feel free to check that out. Again, it's viterbilinks.usc.edu. And with that, I'm going to thank the panel members. Thank you everyone so much for being here tonight. You've provided some great insight. And best of luck with your college decision process for everyone out there. Fight on, guys.